Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode in Dungeonstalker. In this one, or rather, in between this one and the previous one, I've done some work on this level here, and I have actually completed what I said I would complete, which, for a change, is a gigantic shock. There is no longer a giant hole, a giant patch of green where there ought to be bridge, so this level is complete, save for the loot, the mobs, and all that stuff. That, of course, we're doing at the end at some point, or maybe when the intersection is finished, or I don't know, later. That's all that matters. In this one, I want to work a little bit further on this intersection, on the number 4, and that's going to involve brushing this thing, which is a command I barely know how to do anymore. I always wait too long between these episodes. Pattern and radius, I see. Air and 30. Yeah, 30 is good. Poink. Anyway, like I was saying, I do have a plan for what I want this episode to be like, or this level to be like, I mean. And it requires a large open space, so I will get started on the large open space, and once I've finished with this, then we can continue talking. Alright, I've now finished probably the main area, and what I want to do now is just think about where the things are going to be located. Over on this end, I'm sort of planning currently to have a building, and then on this end, the players will come in. And then there's going to be stuff in between, and then the main area is the building. However, I need to get another brush, a smooth brush, which I need to, let's see, smooth, maybe 30, I think. Yeah, okay. Not very effective. Maybe 50. Still not very effective. Yeah, that works. Anyway, I'll try and smooth this stuff out, and then we can get started. So what I did was, I flattened... Well, okay, first I've gotten some work done, you can see that. But second, what I did was I flattened things out with a smooth brush, mostly the edges there. And then I made the entire ground just one big flat surface with the set tool and selection. And then after that, I've been doing stuff like this. Digging little holes or putting up little mountains, as the case may be. And then I just switched my smooth tool and smooth out the area. And I've done stuff like that. I think it looks pretty good with the sort of a normal average average natural-ish looking ground texture, ground elevation changes, and, you know, terrain. That's the word I was looking for. Terrain. It's a nice average natural-ish terrain. Yeah, so I'll keep doing a bit of this off camera, as I was doing. And you can see over here, if I leave my little patch of ugliness right there for a second, I've sort of put up a couple mountains that will frame the building, and ideally that'll make it look kind of cool. But yeah, I'll keep doing more of this off camera, and then I'll see you in a minute. Well then, that's the terrain done for the moment, and I want to quickly map out the area that the buildings are going to be in, just before we end the episode. Of course, we're going to be changing this all from stone brick. It's going to be sort of blue and blacks themed, ideally with lava every now and then, because I think that would be cool. And then, obviously, the buildings. However, I want to map out the buildings and build them before I do that, because that'll make it easier to change the terrain around the buildings, because I won't have to go with the pattern when I'm doing that. So I need to think about this and complete it before I finish that stuff. Now, I don't actually really know what the ground is going to be like. So let's do a little patch over here. And once we've finished the buildings, then we'll transfer this patch to the rest of it. So, yeah. Now, I don't know if we actually want black concrete because it's rather extreme, but there is also obsidian, which is sort of the same color but less extreme. There's also coal, and coal is a good thing to give CTM goers because they need it for all the lighting that they'll be doing to get rid of all the spawners that we're going to place cruelly. So yeah, we could do most of it being obsidian, and then sort of mix in a little bit of this, like that. That brings a pretty nice bluish tint to it. Could we actually add some outright blue to that to make it look even better? I don't know if there's any blue dark enough. Kind of think not. Yeah. I think obsidian is the closest we're going to get to that. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. When it's placed when it's placed among white, it's sort of black looking, of course. But when it's placed among black, it's sort of blue, because that's the difference. And then we can make most of the structural parts of the buildings out of black concrete. I think that might look pretty good. Those are supposed to be little pillars. Obviously, they'll be better made when I actually make the thing. Let's see. What about this stuff? I mean, that looks really out of place with that. However, we do have a texture pack. We do have a texture pack here. And if I was to make this, these brick things blacker, then that could look pretty cool. And I don't think that would disturb other builds, because I don't think I've used it before in other builds. I'll have to take a look around for that, but I think that's an option at least. Or we could use coal, which isn't bad. That's actually a lot worse than coal. It's not as black, oddly enough. But I think we could make something pretty cool with these nether bricks. So let me do that quickly and we'll see how that looks. Alright, yeah, that looks pretty cool. I like that. Okay, I think that's actually what we're going to do. I did try a slightly different shade of black for the nether brick, but I think this is better. So we're going to go with this. And I'm not even going to bother showing you the other one because it's not that cool. Anyway, so I think this is going to be a building that will be up in the sky. So I'm going to build it up in the sky. And we'll probably have one area over here. Probably lower down, sort of. And I'm just going to put down a couple, I don't know, what would you call these? I don't know. They're just going to show me what sort of area to build stuff later. And then that'll be sort of one of the minor areas in the building. And over here we'll probably have another one, which will be over a bit like this. And then those two will connect to the bigger building as well. We'll probably have a medium-sized one over on this end because it's a large area. Yeah, it is actually quite a large area. And connect that into a rectangle, and then we'll have the biggest area in the middle of those. At least that's the idea. However, I think that's probably going to be it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and we'll continue in the next one. And I'll see you in the next one. Oh. Huh. Oh, it's yeah, it was because I was above the world limit. Whoop. Whoop, 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 whoop. Anyway, take care and bye-bye.